Okay, so this is going to be another awesome GoGuardian video. I want to quickly just show you that when a session is running, it will actually show up at the top as an active session, and it will show you how many minutes left that session has. Also, if you click on upcoming sessions, it will open today's calendar where you can see all the sessions that are going to be happening. And you can highlight those sessions and cancel them if they're coming up. And I do this on days where I my schedule is different, right? And that way I can manually run the sessions if I need to, which you can always do. Even if you have the sessions scheduled, you can run the session manually at any time. Say, for example, you're meeting with a student doing STL, and you need to see their screen even though your class isn't happening. You can start that class and at any point and to be able to see the student screen. I also have a separate custom setup that I called watch list, and I'll usually just add a student temporarily to that watch list so I can see them, so I don't have to start the session for everybody else. But you can at any point start the session, and I'll go ahead and do that. And when you do that, it will start. Now, it's very important that you're careful when you do this because if you have an automatic filter that starts at the beginning of every class, or if you have off task alerts activated for that class, you got to be careful because you could accidentally block things while the student is in another teacher's classroom. And you want to, of course, avoid doing that. But if I was meeting with the student in a time that was not my class, this is a good way to still be able to monitor their screen during that meeting because you can start the class at any time. And you can also end that session at any time by clicking the end session button. But before I do that, I'm going to show you right now I have 45 minutes left. But let's say I have 5 minutes left in this class and I really, really needed a little bit more time. I could hit update time and then add 10, 15, 30 minutes, or even decide what my end time is going to be for that class. And if I do that, and oh yeah, can't run class for more than 8 hours. There's a limit there. And you can hit that and update it, and then it will automatically add the time to the class. Also, just to show you the off-task alerts, and I'll just do that really quick. If you click off-task alerts and turn them on, any student who's doing something that's not science is going to get an off-task alert, right? And you can actually change the sensitivity of that alert to be lenient or more strict. Now, because kids are in another class, I'm going to turn that off really quick so that it doesn't affect them too much. And this does not start automatically. You do have to click on that when class starts. You can deactivate the automatic scene that started at the beginning of class. So by clicking disable scene up here, or change the scene that you're using to a different filter. Let's say I'm running a test, I can do that, and it will block everything else the students are doing during that time. So I'm going to go ahead and disable my scenes right now so I don't affect the students that are on this class right now. And I can also turn on or turn off the chat. That this doesn't necessarily automatically open either. So I'm going to go ahead and end the session here. Now, if I wanted to start a session with the chat on, I just got to make sure that I have this button turned on to on right when I start it. Now, for auto starting sessions, like all of these are automatically going to start because I have them on the schedule. When they start automatically, and I'll show you that, it doesn't necessarily start the chat. So here, for example, I have the chat off. Now, I know it says it looks like it's on, but that's just because I messaged one student. And that means it's on for that student. That's why that little bar means. That means it's not on for everybody. If I actually click on it and turn it on, they will say on. And that means everybody now can actually chat with me. It's on for everybody. And this will usually pop into their screens as section chat activated. Now I'm running an Edgenuity filter on this class because it's my first period Edgenuity class. And so everybody that's here is being filtered. So that Edgenuity filter can be modified on the fly, but I'll show you how to do that on a different video. I just want to show you some basic navigation stuff that you can do while a session is running. Now, even an automatic starting session, you can end it at any time if you want to, just by hitting that end session button. So if you forgot to cancel your upcoming schedule on a day that the schedule is different, you can end the session manually, just doing something like this. and then start it at the appropriate time when you actually meant to start it. And you can change the amount of time you want that session to run when you do start it, and if you want to start already with the chat on. So, all right, session is back in business, and so there you go. So these are just some basics of starting and running sessions, whether they are automated or not, uh, and some of the basic tool things that you have to do when you start it. Another thing I want to point out is that I will talk about creating student groups in a different session. When a session first starts, it doesn't have um, student groups automatically on. You also have to turn those on. So the chat, the off-task alerts, and the student groups need to be turned on manually at the start of the session. Also, when a session starts, it starts at the minimal zoom. So if you want to change that so you can see students' screens bigger, you also have to manually change that at the beginning of every class. So these are some settings that don't save from session to section. What does save is the automatic scene. If you have that set up, it will automatically start with that scene. And you can do that by going to settings for any given class. And then right here, you can choose the default setting for that class, right? And that's really useful because you don't have to remember what the scene is when the class starts. So sometimes I'll have a designated scene for each class, and sometimes I'll just have a general scene that all classes of a certain type will use. One reason to have a copy of a scene for each class is that you can make things auto start at the beginning of class. You can literally make things pop up as things are starting and the class is starting. And I do talk about that already in another video, so you can watch that on the videos that I talk about scenes. So that was some basic running and starting and ending sessions, and I hope that you found that helpful.